well, nobody wants to listen to you, because everybody has their own minds too. So that's how avidya is what draws us into making all this violence at spiritual, mind and the body level. And when we start understanding that, true vidya starts shining inside. So vidya and avidya and that's the final barrier that Patanjali says that you have to break. Then you come to your inner self, inner kosha, bliss kosha is the bliss sheath that you can reach. And that's the samadhi. So that's why clinging is wrong. That's why we were talking about choosing is clinging. You would not choose if you did not have some kind of desire. Otherwise, why would you choose? If you had no desire to change the world, why would you choose? So choosing is wrong. And that's the only way you can reach to the whole truth. Because after all, truth is only one. How can you be half pregnant? How can you say, I stole only half? The amount you steal could be half, but the fact that you did steal, stealing is 100%. Whatever events are happening are 100%. You and me and all that. Is there any two ways about it that you are not here? No. Truth is only one. And if you realize the truth in a true sense, all these great people said that truth is God. There is a lot of weight behind that statement. Because truth is what? Truth is you are here, you are here, you are here, I am here. The consciousness that is within you has made you come here. And him, and her, and me. There is a highest amount of presence related to each other. In the time-space complex, the moment where the space and time intersect is the moment of now, is the only truth. Now, no matter how much you try to change, and somebody may try to fudge for their personal motives, is another story. A kid may ask, Deepak say, where did you go? And if he had promised to his kid that, okay, I'll take you to pool tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, forgetting he has to be here, he may make up a story. That doesn't matter. That's untruth. But truth is only one. That cannot be fudged. So truth is God. Because God is here. The full expression of consciousness is what the truth is about. So yoga teaches you the wholeness, not choosing or chasing. So that ends the discussion on the second sutra. The first sutra we talked about was life is energy. And second sutra said that energy can be present in manifest and unmanifest form. And manifest and unmanifest both are expression of energy. And again, we're talking from scientific point of view, that whatever is manifest will become unmanifest, whatever is unmanifest will, and that cycle goes on all the time. We have to be able to understand, like chicken and egg that we talked about. The chicken with unmanifest egg is present right now, just the way space and time complex is present right now, whether we realize or not. Space narrows, time expands. Space expands, time narrows. You start running at a speed, time narrows for you. If you run at a slow speed, time expands for you. All these things are happening whether you know it or not, but the reality is there. Manifest and unmanifest are present right now, whether we understand or not, whether we can perceive it or not. My father, my forefathers in potentialities are here right now in one form or the other. If I have certain characteristics I derived from my parents or my grandparents, and they derived from their parents and grandparents. It's been going on from rocks and minerals. The solidity, the sturdiness that I have, maybe I derive from a rock. All these things, the whole consciousness contributes to your presence. And do not forget, you will be still here millions of years from now, because in potential form. So our total existence is what matters. The forms change, appearances change. So manifest, unmanifest is not that important. The totality, total existence is the most thing important. So that is the sutra, we have to keep it in mind. First was life is energy, and the second is energy can present in manifest and unmanifest form. So we're moving on to the third sutra. So they say, if we look at the manifest and unmanifest as the two ends of a consciousness, whatever is in between is also consciousness. Again, material people who have finite ideas about life, they will say, okay, one end and another end. All of a sudden one end converts into another. No, the conversion is also simultaneously happening. So now we are picking up the speed. It's not like that, okay, all of a sudden you put chemicals together and something else is created. The process of creation is a gradual event. There is a spread of energy between manifest and unmanifest. It's like a dimmer switch that you have. You turn it up, you have a full light in the room. You turn it down, you have no light in the room, it's darkness. But it's not like a regular switch. You turn it on, all of a sudden you have light, shut it off, you don't have light anymore. The life is like a dimmer switch. Between the manifestation and unmanifestation is also a gradual process. There is nothing sudden or things that we call all of a sudden it manifested. Nothing like that. Maybe God can become manifest like that, but we cannot. But overall, but that's another discussion. But our reality in the life is there is a continuous process of between manifest to the unmanifest and unmanifest to the manifest. You have to understand it's a constant process. The moment you are born, your death has started. The moment you are born, we should be even celebrating the birthday, you are approaching your death. Whether the death happens in 20 years or 30 years or 70 years, doesn't matter. It's a process of dying. At the same time, the moment you died, your process of being born is already in the process. Because nothing stays steady. If the river thinks that I am enjoying my independent existence, think again. Its demise of calling it a river and ending up in the ocean, losing its independence name of a river, disappears. Its process started right from the birth of the river. Its journey and its destiny was already there, that it has to meet into the ocean. But there is no sign of suffering, because where it is meeting the whole pool of consciousness, and there are independent wheels of operations already going on for its birth, to turn the water back into its source again to create another form of river. So it's a continuous process. As soon as the new river is created, old river is being broken off. So the spread of energy is a continuous spread between manifest and unmanifest. So that's the concept we're going to talk about. So if you really look at it, if you look at a light and the darkness, and if you choose light only, you may hate darkness, and like we talked earlier. So you have to realize that too much light can blind you too. If you have a very intense light, you cannot see anything. So that's another manifestation. If you like a hot water and hate the cold water, the heat and the cold are also relative. Put your hand into hot water first, and then you put into a hot water, you won't feel a thing. If the water is extremely hot, it will deaden your nerves and will feel cold. So all that shows that whatever we perceive as a manifest, unmanifest, and all these things, and one extreme end of energy to another extreme, it also depends upon your state of mind. Just the way Einstein said, whether an object is moving or not depends upon whether you are moving or not. If you look at Ram, and putting it in a spiritual way, Ram and Ravan, Ram is never going to be 100% Ram. Ravan is never 100% Ravan. Because even in Ram, there will be at a minute level, Ravan will exist. Not manifest, unmanifest. The same thing in Ravan. There will be some Ram in unmanifest form. Whole life is a mixture of manifest and unmanifest. Things are manifesting, things are unmanifesting. It's a continuous process. But there is no way to have an opinion about anything. If I have Ram-like attitudes, I will love Ram's character and I will hate Ravan. But if somebody has a Ravan-like tendency, I would hate Ram and I would defend Ravan. And there are people who have defended Ravan. Say, yeah, because of this. And in fact, if you look at it, we talked about it before, that without Ravan, whole Ramayana would not have happened. Right? Imagine if Ravan did not steal Sita, what would Ram and Lakshman do?
Smoke.
Play bingo. Do nothing. So, like the Gandhi should thank to the British Empire, which we call cruel. Without British Empire, Gandhi would not have reached to his existence. So everything is a relative the way you look at it. Your frame of mind, your frame of reference is what decides whether something is good or not. Once we understand this concept, the fault is not outside. The fault is with our frame of mind. So we stop. What's that?
This is the child gives a birth to a mother.
Exactly.
Same
We never look at it that way.
Yeah, we never.
Right.
We think woman gives a child to a birth.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have to be able to appreciate the consciousness and the change, and we should not have any fixed ideas about anyone, because everyone has everything within them. It's just manifestation being different.
Shades of grey, I would say.
Exactly, shades of grey. 100 shades of grey, right, exactly. So, because by selecting good and the bad is an age-old technique that all these, pujaris and all these religious leaders have been playing with it. Because they themselves are caught into that duality. They themselves have immuned themselves by saying that I am here. Sure, they don't have to live in a sansar. So they can do whatever they want to do, right? Yeah. And tell them to come in sansar and live with, your spouse or your rebellious kids and all these things, and people cheating on you, and
pay the
then
mortgage.
Imagine they say samatva. Yeah. You have to have be sthita prajna, and you have to have a balance this and that. Preaching is very easy. To be in sansar is not easy. So I would say true yogis are created out of sansar rather than sitting in Himalayas, right? So that's the old techniques that they had created to raise their importance by saying that you are bad, now you have to become good. Goodness and badness. Same thing Christianity says, there is heaven and there is hell and there is a devil in you and this and that, and you are all devils and you have to become God, and that's all bunch of nonsense. And until we realize that we have to remove all these concepts, then all so-called religions become totally useless. And now you have to deal with yourself. Now, nobody is telling you that you have to become bad. Goodness and badness is all relative term, does not mean that you go on the path of badness. Even if you do, believe me, there is nothing wrong. Okay? You do it. The only problem is you will be suffering. Because by choosing the badness into the pleasures of the life and this and that, and or killing someone or hurting someone and all that, you're creating the duality. Your belief, that's what Krishna told Arjuna, that if you think that you can kill these people, you are wrong. And if you think that these people can be killed, you're wrong. I take care of them all. Death and birth is a relative thing. Because birth is unmanifested death, and death is unmanifested birth. So you have to come out of the concepts. So when you kill someone, you are hardening, solidifying your belief in the material world. And you are committing an action. Maybe it is bad compared to the rest of the world, agreed. But Rajneesh says that, what kind of crime can you commit in a dream? This is dream. The reality is your true formless self. You cannot commit any crime when you are in a disillusion, when you are drunk, when you are affected by the hypnotic spell of the materialism. Whatever you have committed in the material world, which is itself is an illusion from all our discussions. So you don't have to feel sorry or guilty or anything about it, but you're hurting yourself. And you're preventing your journey to the stage of realization. That self-realization will not happen to you, and it will happen to someone who is pursuing the goodness that they call goodness. Again, the concepts of goodness and badness are relative. You have to come out of the concepts, and you have to accept every single event. But the more important is to go within on the journey of yourself. And on that journey, this will be the obstructions to commit so-called sins of the world. And that's up to you to decide. Dharma Guru does not have to come and tell me that don't steal, don't hurt, do not do jealousy, do not do this, do not that. Otherwise, it's just written, instructions that I have to follow. I've been dealing with instructions since I was in kindergarten. Everybody has been giving me instructions. So when I'm going to have my own manual, when I'm going to have my own Gita, everybody is capable of writing their own Gita. Only if I do the journey on that path. I can write my own Gita, I can write my own Quran, I can write my own Bible. But for that, you have to take that journey. So on that journey, you're going to be hurt if you kill someone, if you steal something. Because your belief in materialism is not fading. Because as soon as you kill someone, or as soon as you express your ego, as soon as you stole something, you believed that by stealing you can have something. Not realizing there is nothing to gain, there is nothing to lose in this world. You violated your own world's rule. It was your own rule that you should have followed and realized, if there is nothing to gain, there is nothing to, why would I steal? Right? So, your own truth is the real truth, nothing else. And that's the realization, just like what we talked about. You are here, I'm here, this is the only truth. And your truth is your own truth. And you, for your truth, it has to be your truth. No one can teach you. You have to have your own truth. And do not think that ever in the society there was 100% goodness. And do not believe that in this society there is nothing but 100% badness. A lot of times, again, that's another very proper, it's like a famous way that all these religious leaders have been trying to put us into that journey, that in the old time there was a Satyug and everything was perfect and everything was made out of gold and everybody was perfect and all that. Ram Rajya, right. If the Ram Rajya was there, why was the Ravan there? If Pandavas were so good, why the Kauravas were there? They're trying to create such a great glorified past only to make you realize that you are the sinners. Then only you would want to make a Ram Rajya come someday, right? Come around in your life. So it's a very, very popular way of all the Dharma Gurus. It doesn't matter what Dharma it is. Their techniques are the same in every religion. You are the devil, you have to go to the God. This and that and all that. You are the sinner, you have to... So, again, the duality. So never believe that at any given time, the society was 100% perfect. And that's never going to be, ever. So where does that lead you? So definitely, your role of spreading goodness also becomes obsolete. Because you really don't have to do anything. No matter how much you do, the badness is going to prevail. It is not up to you. So the same way Gandhi came, what happened to Gandhi's India now? Right? Krishna gave such a great sermon 2500 years ago. What happened? Buddha came and went. Mahavir came and went. People come and people go. They express themselves, that's one thing. But if they believed that they're going to change the world, they also could have been wrong. But they were smarter than you and me. We pick up few bits here and there and all of a sudden start giving advice to other people. You have to do this, you have to do this. You cannot change people. People change from within. So the most powerful engine for change is the consciousness. Only consciousness can change. And consciousness will change in its own way. Everyone has to have their, what they call the stones on the way. When the river starts, all of a sudden small boulders don't do anything. All of a sudden a big boulder comes in and it stays in the flow of that torrential river. All of a sudden the river has to change its course. So those kind of life-changing events, if you learn, will be always there for you. And at that time, nobody will have to come and tell you that do this and do that. You will not do it. You will change your life, and those life-changing events are again creation of consciousness. And even to realize those boulders on the way, also you have to be at that point. If the river has so much vrittis and vasanas within, that it can disregard even a huge boulder, then it can pass, the whole mountain will come down the road. And then it will have to change the direction. And then it will realize. But every river has to, so same way our consciousness is flowing from within to outside. You can be a boulder for someone, but it's still up to the river to learn from its mistakes that all these vrittis and vasanas are useless. Let me become a Ganga. And until then, it just jumps up and down and it wants to have its own path. But that's, everybody has to have their own journey. So the journey has to be taken from within. If you're expecting that you're going to change the world for better, forget it. So if you realize all these things, your role in the world is becoming very minimal. Goodness is gone, badness is gone. You know, all the manifest, unmanifest, you have to worry about attachment to the manifest is gone. Little by little, we're taking into the journey of Samadhi. You have to realize